on today's things old authors get to get away with in literature, I would like to, look at another thing in Homer, which is the ending of the Odyssey, which is after Odysseus has come home, he's reclaimed his throne from the suitors. What begins is a cycle of violence where the people related to the suitors now want to kill Odysseus, and then if they do that, Odysseus' son will have to then kill them, and then their relatives will have to kill Odysseus' son, in a never-ending thing, and a never-ending cycle of violence that then is not resolved because any of the characters with their given innate qualities figures out a solution to. It's just Athena descending from the heavens and solving it for them. Which I do kind of understand because it's not an easy way to get out of that. But at the same time, if you wrote a story like that and gave it to an English professor, if you had a film, if you had a screenplay, hand it to a film professor, they would throw it out. I mean, they would definitely, you would not be allowed to do that. If you read a story like that on the internet, My Little Pony fan fiction, where, Twilight is too inexorably, stuck from Discord, and then out of nowhere, Celestia shows up and just solves everything for her, that would not be good writing. Whether it's the actual show or a fan fiction or whatever. And so, I feel, sorry for modern writers because we have to read the Odyssey, and so we're subjected to this idea. Yet, and he gets to get away with it. And, professors I've ever had have questioned it. I've listened to lecture series, online about it. I've seen, Crash Course Literature, touched upon it, and no one really seems to question whether or not, Homer gets to get away with this, and he does. I mean, he unquestionably does. He has an ending to the story that is solved by an outside force other than what the protagonist has. We didn't. I personally didn't know Athena could do that power. I thought she was kind of, the goddess of wisdom and technology and things like that. I didn't know she could just stop a war, through force of will. So I personally, as an aspiring writer, I know I can never, do an ending like that. And I personally feel bad for other, modern writers, because we have to work so much harder than people who, were grandfathered in before this became, a serious literary taboo that can never be done. And so, because of that, I see where it comes from. I see why it's so prevalent. And Homer gets to get away with it. So, thank you, and next time we will be talking about Sophocles.